Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello and welcome to another week's episode of Spare Parts Racing. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
Very well. Very good job, everyone. Goes off without a hitch this week. Anyway, how's everyone doing this week?
Mm.
Yeah, you sound
I'm
terrible.
not dead.
Yeah, me and Steven aren't sick, so
Yeah, I am still battling the plague.
This is what
I don't
happens.
know what it is.
This is what happens when you try to break into F1 75 event, and then the Ferrari gets a hold of you. They infect you with weird diseases.
Yeah, it's really just because I tried to meet Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. I just flew to London for a day.
Ooh,
No,
flying
I
in this
wish.
economy?
No.
Ooh, that's a risky.
Yeah,
Risky
it's a little
business.
dicey. It's a little dicey.
Did not land upside down.
Well,
A plus.
you gotta take the little things. Anyway, so for this week's episode, we got a fun one in store. We're gonna start off with talking about our 2025 IndyCar season preview. Then we're going to go talk about our the F1 75 event and give our thoughts on all the teams, all the presentations, everything that happened. And then we can talk about Atlanta and other news things for this week. So, without further ado, IndyCar 2025.
Shocking that it's already here somehow.
I know, it feels like...
It's here and then it's not.
But it's not as
That's
bad.
always the saddest part. Is it? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, you get...
What's the break in between?
Because you get this race, then you get the thermal race in 2-3 weeks.
Oh, right, thermal.
Yeah.
And I think it's only 2 weeks, yeah. No, it's 3. 3 weeks. That's not bad.
It's 3
That's
weeks,
not bad.
yeah.
It's okay. And then you're back into Long Beach, and then you get into your rhythm. So, not so bad, not so bad. Could be a lot worse. We've had
Could
worse
be
schedules
worse.
in the past. So yeah, it's here. We've seen some testing. Bunch of people with new teams. And yeah, does anyone have any bold predictions going in to this season of IndyCar?
Ooh. Any
I know.
bold predictions?
I don't have one off the top of my head, but something makes me want to say something about Prima.
Ooh, okay.
Just because they're the new kids on the block, so it might be an easy one. I just don't know.
I have a bold one to start this season.
Okay.
Okay, what's your bold one?
Scott Dixon
Mm-hmm.
does not get a win this year.
That is bold.
Okay, that's bold, bordering on Delulu. You know what I mean?
I'm
'Cause-
thinking the luck is already not on his side. Did you not see what happened at testing? On the final testing day, he blew an engine. One of his 4 for the season.
That's rough.
And-
Okay,
and
well,
the season hasn't even started, and you're already on that back foot. Luck is not on your side. This is not going to be a Dixon year.
okay. Has
Yeah,
he
wait
ever
till
had
he-
a season without a win?
I think it was back to his second season. We've looked over this recently. I know we
Yeah.
did.
I
Again,
feel like this
so
is maybe something that we
can-
talked about.
Yeah, considering how many championships he's had, and what was it? Also, just finishing the season top 5 or top 3, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't it his last top 6 finish? He's been in the top 6 since 1990 something or early thousands.
He did not record a win in 2004, and that might be it.
Which was his second season. Bam! Nailed it.
So it's okay. So it's been 20 years since he's had a season without a win.
Yep.
Okay, that's a really bold prediction, but all right.
It is a bold prediction, but do remember, time has always won. And sure, it might not be
okay,
this year. It might be next year. It might be the year after. One of these years, Scott Dixon's not going to get a win just because Father Time. I think the strength of this grid for this year, and I just think Palou will cement himself as number 1. Dixon will obviously be number 2. But that goes into, I guess, my other theory for this year for IndyCar, which is that we're going to end the Penske Ganassi duopoly at the front.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I don't think either one of those two teams is winning the championship.
Okay.
We can get into that
it.
later when we give our other predictions of like who we think is going to finish where. But going in, those are my thoughts for the season.
I've got a bold prediction. I just thought of one. I think that Alex Palou will be outside of the top 6 this year.
I think the drug meds are kicking in really hard here.
Hey, you never know.
You're insane.
Yeah, I can understand him not winning, maybe even not being top 3 somehow. I can understand that. Top 6 is a little
outside of the top 6. And when I'm right,
my question would just be, who would you actually have ahead of him?
Pato. I'm gonna just come up with Newgarden probably. Maybe Will Power might have a good season.
So listen, if you could do all 3 Penskes plus Pato plus one other driver to bump.
Okay, Colton Herta.
I don't think that's happening.
Which is like, I don't think it's happening. Marcus Ericsson could have a comeback year.
I'm going through this. Like, I could put like all 3 Penskes, Pato,
maybe
Dixon,
Primo will be amazing.
And then like, you're stretching for Herta or someone to join that group. But I just,
you never know. Maybe it won't be Palou's year.
Yeah, you're insane. Okay. Steven, you got one? So I do appreciate the boldness, Taylor. I do appreciate it.
You said bold.
Mm-hmm.
It's bold.
You said bold.
Like, I'm trying to balance how bold I go. Because, like, saying something like Newgarden won't win the 500, that's likely at this point. Winning 2 in a row is insane.
Bold would be saying he does win.
Yeah.
If he won 3 in a row, I'd lose it.
I just don't think he will, though.
I'd love it, actually, for like the lore of the sport, because you don't get back-to-back winners, let alone 3-time winners.
Yeah,
that would probably be the first time, right?
I think it's happened before. But yeah, like
3 times in a row.
Maybe back in the 80s. Maybe like one of the answers.
Okay,
it's been a minute.
Yeah,
it's not happened recently. Let's put it that way. In our
modern era, it has not happened.
You know what? Maybe I'll say Pato does win the 500.
Oh,
which not overly bold, but like
would be nice.
He just doesn't or hasn't had it the last 2 years, so
like maybe he won't come in like a close second.
Yeah. So you can judge the boldness based off of that, but like I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
The 500 is a stretch enough as is.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's go team by team, and then we can start talking about having have a better conversation per team. Obviously, you gotta start off with Penske, who I think are the best team in the series.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No debate there.
Down. No, up, top to bottom. Like any guy can win week in, week out. Really.
Yeah, the rules help you.
Yeah. you get the little thumb on the scale every once in a while.
So,
but
it's
I was
gonna say last year, Newgarden, so you had Power and McLaughlin be in that fight at the end. Power only didn't get there because of his disqualification. Sorry, not Power. Newgarden almost didn't get there because of disqualification. Without that, again, all 3 guys are fighting for that championship. That is a power lineup, I think.
Yeah, like where Newgarden was still 8th, even he lost 100 points.
I think it was 100, yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
but he lost a win too.
Yeah, lost a win. 2 bottom of the grid finishes in Milwaukee, and was still like only 100 points out. So he'd probably be, I don't know,
top 5,
30 points out.
Yeah,
30 points out from the top of the table. Yeah, he's the guy to beat still.
It's a great team. Penske is like that's one of the most formidable teams I would say in all of racing. Like not just IndyCar, but like comparing it to WEC, NASCAR, F1, Formula E. I don't think there's a powerhouse going into a season like Penske.
Yeah.
No. You can make similar comparisons to Hendrick, but even Hendrick has like
Bowman.
Yeah.
Which again, I love Bowman, but I just feel so bad of always being like, well, you know, it's Bowman, which is awful.
All of them are really good, but we know which one is fourth.
Yeah, but like Team Penske, if they had that fourth like pay driver dude of like
Giffen Simpson.
I was gonna say definitely,
or no,
Francesco, but sure.
Yeah. Both are not like that. Now we're just being straight up disrespectful to Alex Bowman if that's the comparison.
No. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if there was a pay driver on this team, they wouldn't be as scary. But they have some of the top guys who are proven winners, proven champions, not only in IndyCar but in other series, looking at McLaughlin. This team is just nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only way to describe it.
I think the fun thing to do also, because we're going team by team, how do the teams finish? Who's the top guy? Who's the middle? Like 1, 2, 3 of the teams, or 1, 2. Who leads the team, I think, this season? I think we should do that as well.
Okay, so for Team Penske,
I would have Newgarden, McLaughlin, Power.
I might swap those top two. Put the thirsty threes on top.
That's fair.
So what, you're gonna go McLaughlin, Newgarden, Power?
Yep. That'd be my order for this year.
Are we disrespectful to Will Power? I don't think so. He was the guy fighting for the championship. But again.
Yeah. I don't know. His like picture on the website is making me it's just wigging me out a little bit. It looks like he has cheek implants. But anyway, I would also agree. I think Power is probably going to end up being on the bottom of those three.
Okay, so you got to pick who do you agree with, me or Steven? Who's number one?
I'm going to go with Newgarden.
Yes.
Newgarden was just more consistent.
So anyway, congratulations, Steven, because you'll be correct by the end of the year.
Yep.
That's how this always goes.
Excellent.
How it goes.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, but yeah.
No. We know how it'll go. Will Power will be first.
Actually, yeah. With the disrespect. Again, he was the guy fighting for the championship last year. He was the guy that went into the last race with a chance to win the title, and he forgot to do up his fucking seatbelt. I mean, obviously, there's more to it than that. That came undone, but it's just fun to say that way. Yeah, but this team, again, I don't want to say we're disrespecting Will Power putting us the third driver on this team, but everyone says McLaughlin's due. A lot of people peg him for a championship favorite this year. Newgarden, if he doesn't have his issues, he's fighting for it last year. Yeah, I think anyone on this team could be 1, 2, 3.
Do we want to know who was top of the chart for testing?
Will
I know
Power.
it doesn't mean it's test. It was Will Power.
I know.
Will Power.
Just funny.
When he wins next week, or this weekend, when he wins the first race, we'll look so stupid. But
yes,
at least it's not a wood in your in system. Like, who would have that? Anyway, moving on. Team number 2, powerhouse number 2, Chip Ganassi Racing. Where for the last how many years the championship has been either Penske or Ganassi? I think for the last, I want to say off the top of my head, 13 years. I think the last one was Ryan Hunter-Reay in 2012.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Just think about that for a second. These two teams have dominated.
I'm very interested to see who you say is going to be ahead of these two teams. I think I know, but...
Yeah, 2012 was the last one, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Wow.
I mean, this team, I think it's pretty simple for how this works out in terms of going into this season. It should be Polo still on top, Dixon close behind him, / maybe in front of him, followed by Kiffin Simpson.
If it turns out any other way, that's wild, honestly.
Yeah. I think
if Dixon has a better year than Polo, and somehow Taylor's fucking right.
Yeah, just you never know.
Or if somehow Kiffin Simpson beats one of them.
Which won't happen.
No.
Which would be more
Okay,
like...
if
Monkey-
that does happen, you finally have to buy that fucking jersey.
Okay. If it does, if he even gets a podium this year, I'll buy all the Kiffin Simpson merch I can find. Okay?
Okay, you keep saying this, but if it does happen,
Because he
this
ain't
year, I
doing it.
swear.
It's fine. I love the guy. I love
Okay,
Kiffin Simpson.
Sure.
But
All of his merch.
I'm not expecting is he still a teenager?
No, I think he's like 20.
No, he's 20.
Okay, finally. He's not a teenager. Sorry, he just turned 20 in October. Ooh.
Yep.
I don't trust anyone under the age of like 21 to win. I'm sorry. But if he does, I will be all here for it. But also, if he beats either Dixon or Pillow, cut to Bruce Almighty and a monkey coming out of my ass.
There you go.
I knew you'd love that reference.
That is a reference.
I knew you'd love that. But is it not true? Like, this team should finish Pillow, Dixon, Simpson.
Yeah. Barring what everyone would be cheering for, or not what everyone would be cheering for, but what everyone would be okay with Scott Dixon getting an 8th championship.
I hear those are hard to come by.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Especially an open wheel.
Yep. But, yeah, it should be that order. Would it can be completely shocking if Scott Dixon has a miracle run, wins a championship, and then fucks off? No, I wouldn't say that's completely out of the realm of possibility. Maybe put it at like 20%.
Yeah.
15%. I don't know. But yeah, this is still Alex Polo's team in the end.
It is.
We'll see.
Moving on to team number 3. Me and Steven representing them right now with what we're wearing. Arrow McLaren. Are we comfortable saying they're the third team, first of all?
Going into the season, yes, just because like Pato's proven, we know what he can do. Nolan Siegel, we got a bit of an idea, but he's still, I think he's even younger than Kiffin.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's November and Kiffin's October.
Steven's right. Yep.
Oh wow.
He's a bit of a wild card. I think could I see him winning a race? Maybe. Would I bet on it? Not necessarily. And then Lundgaard's sort of the same thing. Like, he's getting a shot now at a top 3 team.
Yep.
Still don't know really what to make of him either.
He's still 23.
Yeah, like it's almost like they're sort of, so if you want to put this in ball and stick sports, they couldn't find any success with the lineup they had. They have not rebuilt, but they've retooled with younger guys who have done stuff, but are still somewhat unproven. Yes,
it's very much it's almost like a Red Bull driver program kind of style, where it's young guys and it's succeed or you're gone. And we've proven it works in F1. You get the best guys to rise to the occasion. So I think it's a good play by McLaren. You know, with Tony Kanaan running the show, he is pretty good with working with young drivers as well. But also, I think it's a good play because you know who your number 1 is at this team.
Yep.
It's Pato.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And for this team, I can see Pato winning the championship this year based on Pato performing well And Siegel and Lundgaard, their entire, I would say, role this year is to essentially be a rear gunner. And you want to finish anywhere inside the top 12. You want to have your team up there. You want to be denying other guys points if they have a bad day. You want to perform. You want to do well. But if I'm the boss of McLaren, I'm like, we can win a championship if everyone just if we all finish. Let's not wreck. We know Pato will be up here. He'll fight for wins. The odd track, I think Siegel and Lundgaard can fight for a win on like a good day. But you want to be, if you're those guys, in the top 12, getting through qualifying and staying there in the race. That's your goal.
Yep. Do you guys remember where Lundgaard finished 2023 with Rahal? Where did he finish in the championship 2 years ago?
Was it 8th?
He was 8th.
Man, I just nailed it.
Wow.
And 11th last year. I would not have. Like, I know he had the win in Toronto, but like,
Good win.
Part of me is,
Yeah, that was a
and
good
maybe
win.
this is just maybe this is just attaching him to Rahal and how they've been the last 2 years. I would not have said he would have been inside the top 10 and on the verge of a top 10. So but again, that's where it's like, this could go really, really well.
If he
don't
finishes 8th, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we will see how they go.
This team is going to be very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say.
My prediction for this team, it's Pato is number 1, Lundgaard number 2, Siegel number 3.
Which would make sense.
Yeah. I think all finish in the top 12 of the standings.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
No, it's hilarious also.
What's that?
Total aside, just looking at the teams. We've covered 3 teams.
Yep.
The highest car number we have covered, looking at 9 cars, is 12.
Yep.
These are all the single-digit number cars. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I guess 10 as well. 2, 3. That's hilarious. So, if there's a single number behind you, if there's a single number behind you racing, probably watch out. You might be in for a rough time.
Yeah.
That includes the final single number driver, which we will get to later. But I guess moving on from Aaron McLaren, or I guess no, you guys have what's your predictions for them?
Mine was basically the same.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Yeah.
Award,
We're all in agreement
Lundgaard,
there?
Siegel. Yeah, Lundgaard, Siegel will be
Okay.
roughly the same level, I think, barring one of them just understanding stuff, getting a lucky break or two, and taking off, or maybe one gets all the bad luck and
That's fair.
just plummets down the standings. So
Break a hand or something.
Yeah.
yep.
So, fair enough. Moving on then, Andretti, team number 4. We can agree.
Yep.
Yes.
Which is kind of ridiculous with this lineup with Herta, Kirkwood, Ericsson. Again, fantastic lineup. All the top 4 teams, I expect everyone to win this year, be in those top 4. Like, expecting your wins every weekend should come from one of those 4 teams.
Yeah.
Like Herta, we know what he can do. We know consistency has been his issue over the years, but that's been Andretti's issue as a whole.
And he sort of figured it out a bit last year,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, now it's just more
Because he finished 3rd, right? The
Reflection.
championship.
Or second.
Is it? Oh, right. Yes, because Power's issue in the end, Herta jumped him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Second, 2 wins. So, yeah, like, Herta should be the top guy again.
Yep.
Kirkwood, I'm comfortable putting second. Ericsson needs to have a bounce back season after finishing 15th.
That was a bad season
So,
last year. Unlucky.
So, Yeah, this is Herta's team, and he should be getting all the preferential treatment for
That's fair.
basically every single race. Especially, I don't know if you guys have seen. Apparently, Mario's still pegging him to be the top guy to be in the Cadillac in 2026.
Really?
So gotta show up and solidify that seat before someone else comes in.
That's so interesting. Okay, I mean, like, sure. I don't think he's the best choice, but all right.
But he's American.
American.
I feel for this team. I'm going to change it up a little bit on the top three.
Okay.
I think Ericsson has a bounce back season. He finishes the number 2, and Kirkwood is the third guy. I think that's how that's going to play out for them.
Yeah, I was going to also put Ericsson a little bit higher, only because I think he had a really terrible, unlucky season last year, but I think he'll come back stronger this year. One can only help anyway, so I would also put him maybe at number 2, and then Kirkwood at number 3.
And like Ericsson's season last year was his worst in IndyCar in his career. Until last year, he was consistently the 6th best guy.
Mm-hmm.
He finished 6th 3 years in a row, moved teams, new operations, new things are happening. Maybe you're not gelling as much. Okay. Write the year off. It's unfortunate. Bad years happen. If you come back this year, and again, if you can be a top 10 guy, which I think he can be, then yeah, I could see him easily having a big bounce back year.
All the former F1 fan, or all the F1 fans can hope the former F1 driver can do well. In his 6th season now here, which is kind of terrifying. 7th.
Oh wow!
He's been
around.
He has almost 100 races in IndyCar.
Just
What?
terrifying.
Yeah, you don't think
that's
that he's been around that much. Like he is as seasoned in IndyCar as Colton Herta.
Yep. Pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Hinchcliffe was Ericsson's teammate.
What?
Oh right. That's crazy to think about, actually. But wow. Okay. Wow.
That's terrifying.
Nuts.
I know, right? Like just thinking with that, it's like how much Ericsson's actually. He's, I think, an established IndyCar driver at this point. He's not a former F1 driver. He's an established IndyCar driver.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he has a 500 win, right? So
Yes, he does.
he's very much like, yeah. Wow. Crazy.
Which I think just goes to
Anyway.
show how bad of a year it was last year for him.
Yeah, it really was.
Like he was 15th. What?
Yeah, he officially has more IndyCar seasons than he does F1 now.
Which is nuts.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Anyway, anything else for Andretti? Sorry, Andretti Global.
Andretti Global.
I just gotta hope that they got someone waiting in the wings for 2026.
What do you mean? Elaborate.
What I just said, Herta is apparently going to Cadillac.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's fair. Does he have the super license points? Actually, I think he might now because he finished 2nd last year.
I think he does, but still, you still gotta show out and again solidify
That's
that
fair.
spot.
So those are the big 4. Where do we go from here? Who are the next big teams in IndyCar?
Do we want to talk about like Prima as a wild card?
I think we can.
Because Prima could
I was
be
gonna
like,
want to finish with them, but yeah, we can talk about them now because they are very much. I don't think they'll be that successful.
no.
I think
Okay.
they're looking in the exact same as Juncos a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's fair.
If they make it into Fast 12, it's a good weekend. If they finish top 15, I think it's a good weekend. You're also bringing in 2 very young drivers. We know Callum Ilott is fast, but new team. What was it him that made himself fast in the past, or was it the equipment around him? Again, hard to know.
Yeah. Hard to know.
Who was it that Prima brought in? Because they brought someone in, and then didn't they like fire them, or they left pretty early on? Do you know what I'm talking about here, Steven?
I think so. I just don't know a name off the top of my head, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't remember now. They brought someone in to run the
But
team, and then
and they quit almost immediately.
yeah, because like, oh, I don't like how the team is looking, yada yada.
Oh yeah.
Or like they didn't agree with like the direction, which for me that's a red flag.
Yep. I think you just try and get through the season, get some data, get the team acclimatized. Like the entire season is just gonna be acclimatizing.
It was Michael Cannon. Sorry, Michael Cannon was the guy.
Yeah, so the guy that's been running a successful over program wherever he has gone.
So
not the direction is probably not great.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah, as if it'd be one thing if he's like, yeah, I'm blown away with how their oval program is set up, and I'm just sort of helping along or helping to fine tune things. But how many people are not as familiar with both oval racing and then also more street racing?
Yeah, exactly. So I can see Prima being a back of the pack team. I think their goal every weekend is not to tear up cars. Will be interesting to see how they do this first race week.
Yep, pound pavement, get data.
Get Schwartzman time, get Eilert. Yep. Eilert's the guy who might surprise you. Schwartzman is just learn.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I think the next top team. I don't know if this is just for me thinking. I think it's Foyt.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Foyt is
like Rahal's at least on ovals. Like we know Rahal's not there anymore. Meyer Shank has kind of been 50-50 hit or miss.
Yeah,
and Foyt just had a really strong year last year. This partnership with Penske they've been building seems to be working out for him. So maybe Foyt's the next team to really compete. Malukas we know is talented. He is good.
Yes.
And Ferrucci
I would be cheering for Malukas.
I kind of hope. Yeah. I want to see what Ferrucci does up against an actual teammate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and especially we know he's good on the ovals.
So is Malukas.
At the very least, they can. Yep. So is Malukas. But if that's where they're sort of, I guess, going all in for wins, sort of like an anti Trackhouse NASCAR team where they're like, forget the ovals. We'll try and get wins on the road courses because we got SVG and Suarez and McDowell, and they can all do road courses pretty well. We can maybe try and get 2 wins. These guys are going to be banking on ovals, I think.
Yeah, precisely.
Pun intended.
That's a good one. Not gonna lie. Like I could see Foyt being a dark horse 500 pick.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see it.
I don't know if that's a.
Listen, I can
but
see it. But
is that really a dark horse 500 pick when
probably
Santino
not.
Ferrucci is unfortunately so good?
Oh no, I can just see it now. If Malukas rounding the last corner in first for the 500, and Townsend Bell talking about how great an American Santino Ferrucci is in third place. Can you not see that happening? It's you could have a Malukas, Newgarden, Ferrucci top 3, and the American boy is going to be the third place one, not the other two. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're so right.
Yeah, the one that sounds the most Italian is the most blue blooded. Okay, sure, Townsend. Anyway, that's a team that I think can get a win this year. I don't know.
Yeah, I think,
or at least be a podium favorite on ovals as well.
Yeah.
They're going to be a disruptor team where they could easily start ruining guys' weeks, especially on the back half of the season when it becomes a
Yeah.
much heavier oval schedule. So, what do we got? Well, actually, you know what? It's not quite as bad this year. We do have Toronto, Laguna Seca, and Portland.
Do we have Toronto?
Well,
Yeah, do
as
we?
of right now.
Do we?
As of right
Do
now.
we?
As of right now.
Nobody
we do.
knows.
As of right now, we do. But the schedule's changed a lot this year where it's not nearly as oval heavy at the end. Or it is, but you know what I mean?
Well, you don't have the Milwaukee doubleheader.
oval. You do. Yeah.
Right.
You have the
Iowa doubleheader. That's basically the biggest change.
Yep.
Yeah, Thermal Club got brought on as an actual full race, and then we got rid of one of the doubleheaders, and we basically just gave it Milwaukee as just one race, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them still add, I think, maybe 2 more races and drop the doubleheader. But hey, we can go through the schedule in a minute. Foyt, who's the number one guy here?
Malukas. I'm going with Malukas.
I want to say I think Malukas too.
Ugh. I just cannot put Ferrucci anywhere ahead of anything.
He had
else.
a great year last year, Ferrucci did. And was that a one-off or is that talent? We shall see.
And does he get hot-headed with some competition in the same garage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's easy when everything's going your way, but if he drops a race or two early to Malukas and Malukas gets some preferential treatment.
When Stingray is 10 cars behind you, you don't really have to worry about who's getting the preferred strategy in the garage. Yeah. When Malukas is beating you the first 2 weeks, all of a sudden you might be looking over your shoulder.
Yep. Winner circle money counts, man.
Yeah.
Foyt's gonna go for every dollar.
Next team. Ooh. Do we want to stay on the oval tread for a second?
You thinking ECR?
I'm thinking ECR. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. And they're gonna be a real weird one too. Rossi's,
I like the lineup.
Yep.
Yeah. They have a good lineup.
Rossi wants another 500.
Yes.
Also, I also like the ECR cars. They have that matching kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple teams this year have like the matching, like liveries with like the only change being like side pod colors. ECR has that. Who's the other one? Shank has that. So, I was like, it always makes me think of like the old, either like the old Target car days or the players Forsyth cars. I love when teams have close to the same but slightly different liveries in Indycar.
As it should be. Just not that all of McLaren bullshit that they pulled 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was weird. But yeah, this is an interesting team. Rossi is like always top 10 but never like above 8th.
Yep.
Somehow, so it'll be interesting because he's been Andretti and Arrow McLaren.
Yep.
Basically his entire career. So taking we'll call it a step back in terms of team quality. I think it'll probably be Rossi Rasmussen as the running order most weekends. I don't know. I like Rasmussen too, especially after Daytona. He showed out in Daytona a little bit.
Like on the
LMP2s. Yeah, the Rolex.
Oh, yeah.
He had a very good drive there, and part of that's like because he's another guy that's like 20-something, 24, turning 25. So it's not like he's an old guy either. But I don't know. We'll see what they can do. I think Rossi's going to be challenging. Like with an ECR, I think he has to push more for wins on ovals. But that's also where we've seen him at his best. That's also where we've seen him at his best. So maybe that with an ECR, maybe he can. I don't see him being like a championship threat, but top 6, maybe if everything goes right.
I think he's going to be in his usual spot, which is like
10th,
9th. Yeah, he was 10th last year. Missed a race with an injury. He can produce good results on good days. He can. If the strategy goes his way, I think he can win. And that's not to say, his 500, he didn't deserve a strategy, because, no, he drove that excellently. So I just think a lot of things have to go his way. He's not on the best equipment. If Rossi is going to have a good year, I think a good year would finish like 6th. That'd be a great year for him. And you would need basically consistently be in the top 10.
Yeah, and again, everything goes right.
Mm-hmm.
Which with ECR, I don't necessarily expect, but we'll see.
Yeah, and then Rasmussen, I think Rasmussen, he's a good wingman. Like you said, he was really good in the Rolex, and if he can put some results together and he can be top 12, that's a good year for ECR. If they get their both guys like 12-10, kind of solidify themselves, beat the Rahals, beat the Shanks, beat up and comers like Coin or like I don't know. Why were we just talking? Why was this slipping my mind? Prima. Beat Prima, then it's a good year.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're beating Prima.
No, that's what I mean. Like they should be beating these guys. If any of those bottom teams are jumping up, then you have a problem.
Be fighting Foyt. You two should be Formula or IndyCar B.
Yeah.
Essentially.
No,
right?
I agreed.
Right.
I will say, I think go with the Shank, Meyer Shank.
Yeah, Rosie and Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know which one I'd rather have, or I would put ahead of the other. Part of me says Armstrong.
I think Armstrong's going to come back this year with something to prove. I feel like he kind of might be a little annoyed that he got kicked out of Ganassi.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Kiffin Simpson's blank checkbook.
And but if you look at Armstrong last year, he didn't have the results you wanted, in the sense he finished 14th in points. He still had top 5 finishes. So he was either having a great race, fighting at the front, or he was in the back. That was Armstrong's season. And if he just can, it's his second year. If he gets his third year now in the sport, a little more confidence, a little more knows what he's doing. Yeah, I could definitely see him having a good season. And Rosenquist, we know together Rosenquist, he is now, I think, a veteran of the sport as well. So I think it's a good lineup for Shank to kind of reset, to get a guy who's been there now. This is his second year with Shank and Rosenquist. You bring Armstrong in. If you keep these guys long term, it gives you something I think that's very strong to build around. And again, if you're beating ECR, that's kind of your goal, I feel like, is beat ECR, beat Foyt, be Indy B.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. This is also Rosenquist's 7th season, which is also terrifying.
It's his 3rd team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But at the same time, considering, what was it, Detroit 2022, was it? Or was it Detroit 2023? He was he's done. He's cooked. He's not going to be in the sport anymore. The fact he's still kicking around is...
Because he knows
good
what
in
he's
that
doing.
regard.
He does have pace.
Yep.
So I think Shank could be a fun team for that. Okay, where do you want to go to next? Also, I'm going to say for these guys, Armstrong over Rosenquist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I see them being relatively equal.
Like,
I'm
surprised no one would actually take Rosenquist over Armstrong.
I was going to say, just to be a contrarian, I'll take Rosenquist over Armstrong.
But like, I think that's the more likely is Rosenquist over Armstrong. I'm gonna bet
That's
Armstrong has a good year.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. What next? Junkos? Who's left? Okay, there's Rahal, Dale Coyne,
Junkos, and
Junkos.
Coyne, yeah. And I feel like these teams are really struggling.
I feel like they could all just it's like a toss up as to who would be at the bottom. Like they're all kind of.
Okay, to me, of those three, of Junkos, Rahal, and Dale Coyne, of those three, my number one of those three is Dale Coyne.
Really? Okay.
I mean, you have VK, Renus VK, not Rie Vikas. There we go. Yeah, Renus VK and Jacob Abel. Abel, rookie, no idea what you're gonna get out of there. But VK, we know he is strong on ovals. Did very well with Ed Carpenter, so I could easily see that team just being kind of carried by VK at this point. And like I think VK is one of the best drivers Dale Coyne has had in the last few years. So
yeah, because Dale Coyne didn't have announced drivers for the past, at least last season, right? They didn't have announced drivers.
They've been very slow.
Like they cycled through.
Do you know how many drivers Dale Coyne had last year?
Wasn't it like 7 or something? 7 different drivers for 2 cars?
They had 9 different drivers last year.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, they were a revolving door.
Yeah. Oh,
and they didn't who even started the year for them? Whoever it was, they didn't announce it until the week of testing.
Okay, their number one guy last year was Jack Harvey.
Oh
gosh.
And he ended up getting bounced, I think, for a couple of races there. Right, he got hurt and they put Daly in. Then they had Hunter McElroy to replace him in Toronto. But the second car was all over the place. You had Colin Braun, Luca Giotto for 4 races. Catherine Legg had a few. Tristan Vautier was in there for Detroit. And Toby Sauer. Like they were all over the place last year. The last good driver for Dale Coyne for a full season. Wow, gotta go back a while. Okay.
Oh boy.
Who would you put above IndyCar context? Romain Grosjean or Sebastian Bourdais?
Ooh. Bourdais.
Bourdais.
I'd take Bourdais.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Who do you think was better, Bourdais or VK?
Bourdais.
I think Bourdais is better. VK or Grosjean?
Oh.
I would take VK.
Okay. I don't know. Grosjean just really did struggle for most of the IndyCar.
Could we agree they're on the same tier?
Yeah, roughly the same. I'd put VK over on the ovals and maybe Grosjean on the non-oval tracks. That might be the fairest way to do it.
Yeah. I am kind of glossing over 2 guys, though, on Dale Coyne. One being David Malukas, who you could argue is better than VK, but that was his rookie and second season. Again, you're not going to do as well with a young guy. And also Takuma Sato also did a year with
oh wow,
with them. So, but I still think they haven't really had a good driver, and I think VK could be that number one that either Grosjean was back then or like Bourdais. And they finished in the top 15 respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I think that team could move ahead. of the other 3 backmarker teams. I guess 4 if you want to count Primo. We already talked about them. And then moving on to Rahal or Juncos. Again, I would kind of say... Okay. You got to split this one in 2 tiers, I feel. The Rahal and Juncos debate.
Okay.
You have your 2 drivers, 1 for each team, who should be competitive.
Stingray.
Jesus Christ.
No.
No, it's Connor Daly. As long as Connor Daly keeps the seat, which from what the reports have said, even with that 3.5
He still has
million,
it now, for now.
But they've said like even without that, one, the $3.5 million number isn't fully accurate. We didn't lose $3.5 million fully. 2, we're not looking at anybody else. Despite who was it that we said Logan Sargent might be coming over?
He did just
watch for him.
Listen, the same day that the Daily thing was announced, then Logan Sargent just happened to
Pulled out of his.
pull out. Not even like he was fired. He quit the team, the
Yep.
WEC team. Coincidence?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So-
So, but for now, they've said Connor Daly has the seat. So, but Juncos, yeah, between Stingray's ability level and Connor Daly's financial commitment level, they could be, I think, in for a bit of a rough year.
Listen,
Yeah.
financially they're set because Stingray's bringing a check, Connor's bringing a check. They're fine. They're staying on the grid. It's all good. Same with Rahal. Foster's bringing in that money, and so is DeFrancesco. And Graham is basically the only guy you have there competing, but I feel like he's in the back 9 of his career at this point. And then I would say, yeah, those teams. I think both teams are going to have a struggle.
Yeah, Rahal's looked better as the last 2 years have gone on, but still not like anywhere close to a Formula B team,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, or Indy B team. I don't know why I said Formula B, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they can surprise us. Louis Foster was dominating Indy NXT last year, so.
Okay, moving on from the teams. Do we want to do our top 5 predictions for the standings for this year?
Yes. I can't wait to be completely right.
You're never right. Anyway, moving
What do
on.
you mean?
Who wants to go first? You want to go 5 through 1 or 1 through 5?
Go 5 through 1. I want to count down and see how everybody's top 5 slowly shakes out before they crown either a repeat winner or
A new winner.
a new winner.
I think that's fair. Okay, so while you guys prepare yours,
Okay.
I will give you mine. So for mine, top 5. In 5th place for me, it will be Scott McLaughlin.
Okay.
For 5th place, I'm gonna throw Scott Dixon in 5th place.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna put. I'm gonna put Will Power in 5th place.
Okay. 4th place for me, I will say Willpower.
Okay.
Actually, no. Do I want Willpower? No, I'm going to take that off. No, Willpower can be fine.
Fucking
Joseph
Jesus.
Newgarden. Sorry. Joseph Newgarden.
You fucker.
Okay.
I had
place
Newgarden
for
4th. I had
That's okay.
Newgarden 4th as well.
I got McLaughlin and I got Newgarden. 5-4.
I'm gonna
Nice.
say Herta.
Okay. I also had Newgarden 4th.
Yep, okay.
So 3rd.
My third
Podium.
will be Colton Herta for 3rd.
Okay.
Okay, I put
For my
below third.
third. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Cool. For my third, I'm gonna put. I don't even know why I do these, but you know what? I'm gonna put Dixon.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, second step.
My second will be Alex Pillow.
Okay,
Okay. My second will be Pato.
okay. I had Pato was second as well.
I'm going to
Top of-
have Pato number 1 for me.
Okay. I'm gonna put Newgarden as number 1 for me.
Okay, and I had McLaughlin. Interesting.
Interesting.
We all have different winners, but it's not Pillow. 2 of us have a first-time winner. That could be fun.
Yeah. So congratulations, Alex Pillow, on yet another championship.
Yeah.
We're trying to jinx it into existence, but as per usual, this will be a complete mess. So, actually, but we probably should have done this after our IndyCar fantasy draft. But oh well.
I think that's fine.
Oh, well.
Listen, we can have different
Or
thoughts throughout it, so that's fine.
do we want to say for the IndyCar draft, since we all have a different winner, that is our first round, and we'll start from there.
Deal. 100% fine with that.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Okay, so I get Pato.
Yep.
Steven, you get
Okay, so
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin. Okay.
I get Newgarden. Okay.
The funny part is, I don't think anybody would be like overly upset with that.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Like that's.
How are we deciding who goes
I was just
first?
I was just
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
continue this based off of last year.
Okay.
So I will be picking last.
Okay.
Sean, you will be picking second. Taylor gets first
Okay. I get first pick again because I sucked last year. Okay.
Just try don't sucking.
pick. Be better.
Be better. Don't be bad. Okay, I'm gonna go Scott Dixon.
Wow. Just
Wait, can I take it back? No, you know what? I'm
No.
sticking to my guns. Scott Dixon.
Thanks
John?
for handing me this.
yeah.
Alex Pillow, 100%. How do you not?
Because I
Well,
told
'cause
you
he's
gonna be
not-
outside the top 6.
That's fair.
I told you he's gonna have a not good year.
I'm half surprised it wasn't Marcus Ericsson.
Marcus Ericsson?
Yeah. I know who's pick 3 for Taylor. And she wonders why she sucks at these.
Oh god. Okay, I gotta figure out who I'm taking now. Jesus Christ. I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll double dip, and I feel like this is almost like the Hendrick thing, where you got to take all 3, and I'll take Power, and then I'll take Herta.
That's fair. Okay. I feel like I gotta go
Sure.
Kirkwood.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
a good place to be. Taylor?
Okay, do I really need to pick?
You have to pick 2.
Yes. You gotta
Oh, I have
two.
to pick 2. Okay,
These
so
are your
obviously
and these are your
Marcus
last
Ericsson.
2. Yeah, these are your last 2. Don't forget.
Right.
With us
Okay, so
eliminating
Marcus
already.
Ericsson. Surprise. And I will go with
Can't take Roman Grosjean.
Yes, I know that. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go with Malukas.
Damn. You know what? I was thinking that. So you know what? That's a good pick.
Why not?
I do not hate that one at all.
Okay.
Oh. I'm going to go Christian Lundgaard.
Oh, Interesting.
Use. God damn it, I can't spell his fucking name. I am gonna go to the other part of that garage and roll the dice a little bit. I'm gonna take Nolan Siegel.
Okay.
Do we want to do what we did with NASCAR and have a fifth guy in case of injuries?
Honestly, based off
Oh,
of
yeah.
last year, yes, that would probably be
True.
a smart move. So give me 2 seconds here. So you just
A fifth.
I think we should let Taylor go first this one too.
go for it. And remember, this is only if the driver cannot, or one of your drivers cannot start a race.
All right. Rossi. I'll go with Rossi.
Yep, it's a good pick.
Kiffin Simpson.
That's the only reason you fucking wanted to do it.
I still need him on my
what's
team.
funny,
I still need him.
You know what's funny though?
God.
There is like a small shred of me that was going to choose Kiffin Simpson just because I knew you were going to do that.
I would have
I
dove
was
through
like-
the screen and strangled you. I hope you know that.
Yes, I know. It would have been funny though.
That is fair.
Jesus Christ.
Except I made the smart choice and went with Rossi and not the Barbados boy. With a big fat check. It's just so funny that you're so like on Kiffin Simpson.
Fuck yeah.
Good lord, I don't even know who to take now. Didn't think we'd get to do it. I don't want to take Ferrucci, but I think I might have to.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's the only choice really left. He's the only guy that's in Formula B. Unless I take Christian Rasmussen. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll take Rasmussen.
Like at one point, yeah, it's Simpson, but also he's on like the best team there, so like why not take him as like your 15th pick? Eh?
Sure. Rationalize it however you want.
Was the season last year even that bad? Ooh.
Was it that good? That's the real question.
He finished
Anyway.
out of the top 20 a few times. He's young, it's fine.
That's your bar for success. Okay.
Basically, I like the look of his car this year. Does that count?
Sure. If you want it to count, sure.
Sounds good.
In that case, I'm glad I took the car that you were over the moon about for their liveries with Rasmussen. So
Very, very true. Okay,
Oh, God.
moving on. Do we want to hit F175? I know we said we were going to do that. This talk went very long for the IndyCar talk.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you just want to hit up Atlanta? And then
Let's hit up Atlanta.
We'll save
like,
F175 for our F1 preview, which is also, I think, in a couple weeks.
testing starts
Would
this
be.
week, man.
Yeah, next week we're gonna have IndyCar
Wow.
to talk about. We're gonna have NASCAR at Coda. We're fine. We'll hit F175 next week. We'll start with that
Yeah.
and testing.
Okay. Yeah.
Like goddamn, like there is we're in it now. The season is here.
The season's it's so nice. But we get like no time in between when the season's like actually ends because
Pedal
like
to
NASCAR
the
lasts
metal.
forever. And then F1 lasts forever. Well no, because it's all staggered. Anyway. It's great.
Racing never ends.
Racing never ends.
fantastic.
Well, it actually really truly never does, but
No.
we don't talk about everything on this podcast.
Yeah, do we have to talk about the what's it called? The Middle Eastern winter series or whatever the hell they fucking have? No,
No.
we don't. But we could. We just choose
We
not
could.
to, or else
We don't need
would.
to.
If we did, I think we would just die.
Probably. Or this would just be like 3 hours every single day.
I
Anyway.
know none of us have the energy for that.
No.
No.
No energy, no time. Anywho, Atlanta. Second race of the NASCAR season. We have Christopher Bell win after the Toyotas, I think, led one collective lap.
Listen, Atlanta was a fun race.
It was.
I thought it was very entertaining. This package works well. They don't get too packed up. You still have to have good handling in the car. You have to make good runs. It's kind of like classic super speedway racing, but just a little bit shrunk down.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Honestly, like what was it, 2 weeks ago when we were looking at current Daytona pack racing
Versus 1999.
Yeah, it looked like the 90s version
Yeah.
of pack racing, which is what I think you want to see.
Where they
Limited
don't
ones.
suck up to each other hard.
Yep.
And you have to maneuver, and handling matters.
Yep, you got to time out your runs properly, which it looked you could try and do. It did still get a little bit limited. Like I know if you try, like I know Blaney and Hamlin both tried to make the bottom line work, and it just wouldn't work. They would step out, try and move up, and they just couldn't. So that's the one place where it still differentiates a little bit. But other than that, it looked a lot better than
it was
the
entertaining.
Super Speedway. Yeah. You had a couple solo spins that brought out cautions to pack everybody back in together. Not a huge issue,
the
though.
First stage clean the whole way?
That it was.
Like, yeah, like it was just good. I would say the worst part about it was the ending.
Yeah.
Because my issue is, what's the point of going overtime if you're just going to finish it under caution because someone wrecks on the last lap of overtime versus just throwing the caution the last lap and calling the end? Because guys race harder now, knowing that if they wreck someone, there's going to be overtime. Then if it's just, if I wreck someone here, I don't have a chance. But if you wreck someone in the last lap, you actually might get a chance at the win yourself, even if you're in like 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, I'm okay with the call of the yellow flags. I'm fine with that. I know people were mad that we've had 2 races where they basically, middle of the last turn, throw a flag, race over. You have to go to essentially video review to figure out who won, because when the lights come on...
Not really for this one. It was pretty clear cut.
Yeah. But you have to check and be, okay, who was ahead when the lights come on? It's not obvious of who gets to the line first. So I get it. It's frustrating. People want to see a good finish. A good finish might mean getting rid of overtime altogether. Because...
Which is fine.
Again, you have guys that know if you're coming to the last lap, it's not the last lap if you wreck a guy. So you make dumb moves, because if you do, you get a lifeline.
Yep. Get back in line. Hope you don't get too tangled up or take too much damage.
Or hope someone else screws up ahead of you.
Yep.
So that's my thoughts at
The
the end of that race.
Well, and the other thing is, it's still showing NASCAR can't decide what road they want to take with this. So it's differentiated the 2 Cup Series races, how they've called the yellow Daytona racing back to the line under green, despite a wreck on the backstretch. This one almost instantly, and I agree, I think this was the right call. That's how they should call it. But again, where I think a lot of fans are getting frustrated is the fact that it's a lack of consistency.
Yep.
It's because even so, they said they were gonna in the drivers' meeting. They admitted that the Xfinity race the night before, they fucked it up by letting them race back to the line, and they said we're gonna throw a caution. And it's like, okay, guys, we had this discussion already from last week. Figure it out. Pick, are we throwing a yellow or not? Make a rule, like if the leaders are clean or still green coming and they've cleared the last corner, we're going to the end of the line. Something to make this super easy.
Get rid of overtime.
That too. Get rid of overtime too, but
that takes guessing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's 3 laps to go and you're in the lead, you're feeling pretty confident that if a caution happens, you got this. And we've seen in the past guys who have good leads. They look like they're a shoe-in to win this race. 2 laps to go. Oh, the 16th and 17th place guy just came together. Uh-oh. guess we're going to overtime.
Mhm.
And then someone else wins when the leader has been leading for 40 plus laps. They're in the zone. And then, like, now the third, fourth place guy wins the race because of shenanigans. So, if you get rid of overtime, you go back to the race distance being the race distance. Drivers, I think, will be less likely to make dumb moves. You'll see more races finish under green because guys will just want to then get to the end and not hopefully get bailed out by a yellow and go to overtime, and maybe I can make a couple spots up when everyone wrecks in overtime.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or they do what Denny Hamlin has been saying for the last 2 weeks, which is let's at least get out of the last turn before we start doing stupid shit.
That's fair. And that is also
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
speedway racing issue.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help that this issue is being highlighted. Like, we're not going to get this issue this week at Coda, right? Until someone wrecks out of the last corner somehow.
Yeah, like we haven't had a controversial yellow finish on a super speedway on a road course yet.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah. But, like, again, good race overall. Did Christopher Bell necessarily deserve a win? He was in the right place at the right time.
yeah.
Right? Like, again, he led one lap. I do have to correct what I just said a couple minutes ago. Toyota's led 6 laps in total.
Wow.
Chase Briscoe apparently led 5 laps. Me and Sean watched the entire race. I don't remember him leading at any point, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah. Carson Hocevar, yeah, got to be a little bit heartbroken with a second place after how you saw Daytona end, because it looked like he had a good run going towards the end. Instead, all he gets is a lineup of other drivers that wanted to have a few choice words with him. I think that started with Ross Chastain. But I know Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney were also pissed off at him. And he hasn't made any friends through the first 2 weeks, but he is, I think, 7th overall in points.
He's had a great first couple of races of the year.
Yep.
And honestly, I kind of picked him for Coda.
Oh.
Bold choice.
Okay.
Why? Why is that bold?
I don't know. Just super. Here's my thing. We've had 2 super speedways where I don't think you can put a ton of weight into the results necessarily. Like, Brad Keselowski's got like 21 points because he's wrecked out both times. And I think if you go back to last season, Keselowski sort of started the same way, and he was not running 27th at the end of the year.
That's fair.
So I wouldn't put, like, I'm not saying that Hocevar is like going to be bad on a street course, but
I mean, last year he finished off the season with the 3rd place at Watkins Glen and 12th at the Roval.
okay. So
He can do well on road courses, and I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate that. He is a top 10 at Coda in Xfinity. Yeah, I can see him actually. Sorry, it wasn't Xfinity. It was Trucks. He had a top 10. I could see him putting a result, and I think he's confident right now.
yep. I guess really it'll be the measure between the confidence of doing well in the first 2 races, and then also does he take any of what Chastain said to him, Busch said to him, Blaney said to him. Does he take that and reel in his aggressiveness?
What was aggressive? What was wrong with what he did?
The bump in the corner with Blaney to spin him out wasn't the best. I don't like it. That is his fault, but I don't like It's not like a what the fuck are you doing, man?
But
It's,
I watch all these guys do that same shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And
But-
we're going to a road course next week where the bumpers are going to be used no matter what. So like I listen, you can hate
I
the
know.
player and complain all you want, but at the end of the day, this is what NASCAR is now.
Yes, and all I'm saying is how he approaches the next couple races of, you know what, I did what I did. It doesn't really matter
Fair enough.
to me personally. Or does he think, oh, you know, Kyle's been around a long time, Blaney's been around a long time, Ross used to be the guy that got the same thing said about him. He's saying this to me now. Do I need to take these what he's saying and listen? Because he's also seen Ross as a mentor through his, the last few years, right? So
Okay, I guess, yeah, but
does he how does he go through? I agree with you. I think he should stay aggressive. You know, you just glad to see Taylor agrees with that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
yeah, it's fair. And it's a different Coda layout this year. It's a short circuit, so they don't have the long hairpin. Basically, the hairpin is now right after the S's, so that'll be kind of fun. Watch them navigate that. And then you also lose the long straightaway. It's now a lot shorter, so it should be interesting to see how they race. But yeah, I think I put my long shot on Hocevar, and my other one was on who was it? Was it SVG? I think it was SVG.
He's not a long shot though.
No. He's like my favorite. He's the one who the long shot was Hocevar.
Yeah.
SVG I think is a pretty good candidate to win this.
He's the favorite at plus 500 right now. So
That's good odds actually. Remember last year he was in the negative odds for Chicago?
yeah.
Yeah. So I would take that.
You know which one surprised me? It was the fact that Connor Zilich is coming in for the NASCAR Cup his NASCAR Cup debut, and he's coming in at second best odds at plus 750.
Would you doubt those odds?
The fact that it's his first racing cup, a little bit, but at the same time, he has always said he's a better road course racer than he is on ovals. So that's where I'm like,
yeah.
Let's see what you got.
Put him in IndyCar. Just saying.
It might be too late.
I know, but it is a big weekend for IndyCar too, though, with St. Pete coming up, and I guess the first Fox race. Going to be very interesting to see those numbers. I feel like for this race, I got to go with Pato.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Start the championship hunt now.
Pato's a good choice.
I'm trying to think of who's done well there last year. I know McLaughlin. No, so I'll say the same thing because I think McLaughlin's been good there the last couple of years. So I'll say McLaughlin.
Okay. Well, you know what?
I'm gonna say I'm just gonna go with we're all going with our choices for number one, so I'm gonna go with Newgarden. Why not?
Okay, that's fair. If I'm going to go for a dark horse pick for a guy to win maybe his first win, I think he has a first win. We've seen a lot of first wins before, right, at St. Pete?
Yeah, didn't Kirkwood have it?
Just want to double check. Yeah, he doesn't have a win. Okay, he doesn't have a win. Driving for AJ Foyt.
Malukas?
David Malukas. I'd put as my long shot.
Ooh, I like that pick.
Long
For my
beach
long
as
shot,
well.
I'm gonna go with Marcus Ericsson, bouncing back and winning the first race of the season.
I guess long shot. I'll go Nolan Siegel. Impresses in his Arrow McLaren debut. Well, no, not debut,
Debut.
That's fair.
I guess full-time ride debut.
but full-time debut.
I think those are all good picks. Is that all for this week then?
I think so.
This has been a long one.
Yep, and it's
Tis
they're
all
only
for this
gonna
week.
get it's only gonna get longer.
Oh boy.
Fantastic. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to this episode. We'll be back next week to talk all things motorsports. If you aren't yet, please give us a follow on Blue Sky, where we're clipping basically every race that's happening over the weekend, and basically keeping everyone up to date as it goes. And yeah, anything else to add, Steven?
Nope.
Okay, perfect.
Unless you want to watch brain rot videos, we're gonna start doing those too.
Did you actually post that one?
I did.
Okay,
It's on our
fantastic.
TikTok.
Okay,
And it hasn't been taken down yet.
what's
so,
our TikTok?
Woohoo.
I think it's at Spare Parts Racing
Okay,
without the
Spare
D.
parts racing.
fantastic. Anyway, yeah, follow those. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at Spare Parts Racing. That's Spare Parts RACIN, and on TikTok at Spare Parts Pod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.